All right, everybody, welcome back. You know we love to dig into the latest political stories, and today, buckle up.
Yeah, this one's got it all.
We're talking campaign trails, media, uh, let's call it media chess, and a plot twist featuring, well, you'll just have to wait and see.
It's definitely not your average day in politics.
Not even close. So we're diving headfirst into this Shade Report piece. It's all about Trump, his 2024 strategy, and how he's handling the media this time around.
Which, let's be honest, is always interesting when it comes to Trump.
Understatement of the year.
Mm.
Okay, so the Shade Report kicks things off by saying Trump's looking, quote, exhausted and dodging interviews.
Bold move calling out a presidential candidate like that.
Right. But before the internet explodes, his press secretary comes out swinging, says Trump's doing interviews daily. So what's the deal? Someone's not telling the whole story.
Well, both sides might be playing a little loose with the truth, to be honest. The article does mention daily interviews happening, but then it hits us with this list of cancellations. CNBC, NBC. Even 60 Minutes got the axe.
Whoa, those are some heavy hitters. Not exactly known for lobbing softball questions.
Exactly. These platforms, they've got huge audiences, and they're known for, shall we say, robust questioning. You don't just accidentally blow those off.
So it's not just any interview he's skipping, it's the ones with teeth, the ones that could actually, hold his feet to the fire a little.
It makes you wonder if this is deliberate. Like, is there a strategy here?
Right. I mean, do you remember that Bloomberg interview where Trump's trying to defend those tariffs and it got, well,
A little messy.
yeah, let's go with messy. So maybe, just maybe, Team Trump is trying to avoid a repeat performance, especially on platforms known for holding politicians accountable.
It's a possibility. Controlling the narrative is everything in a campaign.
And speaking of controlling the narrative, this is where it gets really interesting. The Shade Report, they wanted a Trump interview, right? Seems straightforward enough.
Lay it on us.
So they're talking to a campaign advisor, and get this, they get offered Waka Flocka Flame instead.
Wait, hold up. Waka Flocka Flame, the rapper?
The one and only. I was floored.
Okay, I gotta admit, that's not the name I was expecting to pop up in this story.
Right, so naturally everyone's scratching their heads. But here's the thing. Remember a few months back when Waka Flocka Flame publicly endorsed Trump on X?
Yeah, it was all over my feed. Didn't he say something about Trump being a real one?
Yep, something like that. And it went viral. I mean, millions of views, mostly younger people, and a good chunk of those were black voters, which, if we're being honest,
A demographic the GOP hasn't exactly had the best track record with.
exactly. So think about it. Instead of facing tough questions from, say, a seasoned journalist on a network known for hard-hitting news, you've got an endorsement that plays well on social media and speaks directly to a demographic you're trying to win over.
Talk about a power play. Whether you agree with it or not, you gotta admire the strategy. It's unconventional, but undeniably effective in this media landscape.
Definitely makes you think about how much things have changed, right?
It's a whole new ballgame. And it highlights just how important social media has become, especially in politics. It's not just about sharing cute cat videos anymore, it's about shaping public opinion.
Which brings us right back to controlling the narrative.
Yeah.
Because we've got these two very different pictures of how Trump's handling himself in the media. On one hand, you got that Bloomberg interview where it seems like he's fumbling. But then on the other hand, you've got those town halls, the ones on Fox News and Univision, and those were
Carefully orchestrated, to say the least.
total 180. I mean, we're talking hand-picked audiences, zero fact-checking.
Yeah.
Those appearances felt like watching a campaign ad.
It really highlights the difference between engaging in a genuine dialogue and delivering a controlled message.
So are we seeing a calculated media strategy at work, or is Trump just kind of winging it and hoping for the best?
Honestly, probably a bit of both. Trump's always been known for his unpredictability, but he's also a master showman. He knows how to work a crowd, and he knows how to use the media to his advantage. Whether that's through carefully staged town halls or by bypassing traditional media altogether and going straight to his supporters online.
It's brilliant and terrifying at the same time, because it makes you wonder how much of what we see from any politician is genuine and how much is all just performance.
It's a question we should all be asking ourselves, especially in this day and age where everyone's crafting their online persona. How do we know what's real anymore?
It's scary, right? Because if a politician can control the narrative like this, if they can choose who to talk to and who to avoid,
Then they're essentially controlling what information reaches the public. And that's a dangerous game no matter what side of the aisle you're on.
exactly. So what can we, the ever bombarded by information public, actually do about this?
Be critical thinkers. Don't just take everything at face value, especially when it comes to politics and social media. Ask questions. Seek out different perspectives.
Don't just stay in your echo chamber, basically.
Exactly, because the more informed we are as voters, the harder it is for anyone to control the narrative.
It's on us to be savvy, to see through the smoke and mirrors, and to demand more from our leaders than just a carefully crafted persona.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
And speaking of demanding more, I do have to circle back to something the article mentioned. They talked about how if Trump's tariff plan goes through, economists are predicting some pretty drastic economic consequences,
Yeah.
like soaring inflation kind of consequences.
It's a whole other can of worms.
Definitely a conversation for another day. But it does make you think, right? With all this focus on controlling the narrative, on media strategy and appearances, are any of these candidates, regardless of party, actually addressing the concerns of everyday people? The issues that actually hit our wallets and impact our lives.
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And honestly, that's the conversation we should be having.
So as we head into this election, that's something I'm going to be thinking about, and something I hope our listeners will consider as well.
Absolutely. At the end of the day, actions speak louder than words. Or, carefully crafted sound bites.
Well said. And on that note, that wraps up our deep dive for today.